Okay. Hi guys, this is Mrs. Good for Business. Well, Mamie. And I do the blogging site titled Mrs. Good for Business. I know it's been a while since I put up a video. In between me having Periscope issues and just with my voice, I haven't been able to do any of that. It's been a on and off again thing. So what I'm going to try to do, something that I have some control over, I'm going to at least try to record these video posts um, before I put them up, rather than using a Periscope where I have to wait and make sure I have enough people paying attention to me. And it only lasts for 24 hours, the post. So at least with this, I can do it. I can, fix whatever I need to fix and put it up there for you guys to go back to. Um, my last post that I've done that I'm going to do this video on is called One Household, Two Different Value Systems. And it's basically talking about how, having two different ideas can breed sabotage within a family because basically you're not on the same page. And so let's go from there. I've tried not to speak too much on marriage because although I am married, mine is far from perfect. So I feel like I have plenty in my own marriage I can work on. But I also know that in opening up a bit more on a general topic presents the potential for not just me to learn something, but for someone else. If I get a little pitchy, that's just my voice. It goes in and out. It works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, to be honest, everyone is so filtered about the real stuff that it is just too easy to edit our lives to look however we want it to look, good or bad. Mostly good, though. Nobody really try and make themselves look bad. We leave that for our frenemies. Anyway, I mean, look at perfection. Perfection is something that is actually obtainable if you look at these TVs, these videos, these social sites. Everybody is perfect. It's all filtered. When in actuality, we all got issues. We all got stuff that we would rather not people see. But that is exactly the stuff that we should maybe be showcasing. That way, we can maybe get some insight and shed some insight. It's absurd to entertain the idea. But if you jump on the internet, it's happening. Anyway, that is a discussion post for another day. Now, what I need to place heavy emphasis on is that every marriage is different, and of course it should be. And that's because everybody is different. Everybody have different ways of dealing with things, thinking about things, approaching things. Um, Still, the word marriage does have some basic guides to start out with for everyone. The rest will be determined by the two individuals who decided to embark on the journey together. Let me start out by acknowledging that I didn't personally have a lot to reference on about what a marriage should entail when I was growing up. Um, I knew what cohabitating looked like, but outside my maternal grandparents, I was tying in my own observations via television, reading, and my own dang on imagination. Um, and this is not to throw any shade or to make anybody feel like they didn't do something right. Because I think that my mother was awesome. I believe that she did, the best that anybody in a two-parent household could do on her own, raising seven children, as well as, my aunts. Um, there are a lot of women, there are a lot of people out there who do well without having a partner or going into the whole marriage thing. And although some people do decide not to marry, they do still live lifestyles and in households as if they are married. Everything else is there except the paperwork. Anyway, parents um, officially like my reference for marriage. As I've gotten more exposed, I now know that marriage isn't as simple as it sounds. You know the one. Girl meets boy, girl plays hard to get, boy rules girl, then comes marriage, house, and a baby carriage. Give or take a few, details. I say very apprehensively. For some, it sort of happens that way. However, for most, not so much. It gets more complicated than just that, and there are so many mixed variables for it being so. Sometimes people meet each other and are ironically in different places in their lives. We all been there. I've been there. But still, they force the situation to work. Or maybe they're both wanting the exact same thing, but it just so happens they're needing it from different people. Somebody you still hung up on, or maybe you feel like got away, or maybe you just didn't come across them yet, but you just feel like something just quite is not clicking right. Or maybe they're both wanting the exact same thing, but it just so happens that they need it from different people. Chemistry, lack of communication, time and priorities, goals, and even the family that we're born and raised into have a part in what makes a marriage more complicated. That is why it's important to really know who you are marrying and what their values are all about. And I mean, like, really get to know a person. Don't just say, do you go to church, or are you what are your ideas and goals, or what's your religion, or how do you feel about open marriages and open relations. I mean, really get to know a person. Like, you want to know if they go to church, go to church with them, or suggest y'all go to church on a date, or meet at the church, or some type of church function. I mean, that opens up the conversation, and that gives you insight onto exactly how they engage in those type of situations. If not, you're going to go into the relationship, into the marriage, and you're going to basically be in the blind leading the blind, and you're going to learn things that you might not necessarily, it's not a might, it's going to be a game changer for you. It's going to change everything, and it's just going to put strain where there don't need to be none. Or else you're going to spend a bulk of your marriage trying to learn other and their views, when you could have been enjoying being one of them almost perfect-ish married couples. Don't get things confused. Married or not, once you're living together, you ought to be mindful of these things. This is especially important when there are children involved. The worst thing in the world is to try to raise children when you and your partner can't agree on what lines to draw and where. Personally, for me, this is a hit home type of thing with the kids. My son is he loves his dad, and I love that he loves his dad. I encourage it, and I encourage every woman to encourage a relationship with their children and their dad, or vice versa. It's just no need to try to impose your own views or have your own personal conflicts put onto your children. Let them figure that out for themselves, because kids are very smart. They will figure it out. Either way, like, my son, he loves sports, and he likes to indulge in it. Maybe not as much as his dad might want, or maybe more than I want him to do that. But either way, we have different views on certain things when it comes to my son, where I feel as though I might not be telling my son enough. His dad may feel like I'm oversharing, or vice versa, where I might feel that his dad is talking to him too much like an adult, and my son gets confused to the point where when he come to me, he don't know how to shut that part off. Like, how you talk to your dad is how you talk to your dad. I'm not on your level, and you're not on mine. So when I talk to you, and when I deal with you, you are being dealt with as a child, and I am your mother. And his dad, try to teach him, like, to be a man. So when they're teaching him that, he neglect to maybe sometimes say, listen now, I'm telling you this because I don't want you to go out there and learn it from somebody else, and maybe not learn it the right way. And how I feel about whatever I feel about is how I feel, but your mother might have a different view, and me and your mother are different, so we're going to approach things differently. So remember, don't compare whatever we do with however you and your mother engage. Anyway, that sort of thing. Back to what I was saying in this blog. I'm reading off of my phone, my blog, so that's why I'm pausing, and it may seem as though I'm looking down, so I'm going to try to fix that from this point on. Okay, the worst thing in the world is to try to raise children when you and your partner can't agree on what lines to draw and where. This is frustrating for adults and confusing for children. Overall, it is counterproductive and presents to the children that your system is weakened. These kids are watching. Don't think that they're not watching and that they can't put one and one together to get two. They'll see what is supposed to be an united front as a jungle gym where they can play one parent against the other. I'm not crazy, and these kids, they ain't stupid. Shame on you if you thinking, not my baby. I remember, growing up and, parents come to school and seeing about their kids who might not be acting right, and them, being confrontational with the, educators, talking about, oh, not my baby. They so hell bent on, defending their child that they ain't even trying to hear no logic come out of that teacher's mouth, and that's just wrong. I'm going to go and I'm going to defend my child as well, but if my child is in the wrong, I'm going to call them out on that, and I'm going to correct it right there. I'm not going to do it behind closed doors, because you know what? There needs to be an open line of communication between, the school system, the parents, the children. It all needs to be open so that everybody is on the same page. And that's just basically how it is in a marriage as well. Anyway, shame on you if you thinking, not my baby. Yes, your child too. If it comes down to him or her getting what he or she wants, you'll see. The way it is played out is that one parent will become the go-to parent, while the other parent becomes less of an authority to the child. That person is going to be more like the thorn in their daggone side, who just basically trying to ruin all their fun, which then correlates to there being a favorite parent that the child will identify with, while simultaneously drawing a deeper wedge in between the less favorite parent, whom the child will swear is out to get him or her. Now, the less favorite parent is feeling undermined by his or her partner. The household is in a constant struggle for a position of power, and feelings of resentment flourish. There isn't any constructive communication nor opportunity for airing out the differences to effect change. There, within that household, you'll have a broken system. Only thing I can say to that is good luck. I hope you don't give up on it, and I also hope that you don't just sit back and let it fester and grow into something beyond your control. But there needs to be some understanding about, what the family is, what direction the family is trying to go as a whole. It's okay for, you to be an individual and for everybody to have their views and, personal goals, but within a group, there needs to be one line, one mind, one direction. And everybody should be on that same page. So that is it. That is my post. Let me know how you feel, what you think. I invite all discussions, all opinions, and even ideas for the next one. Y'all have a blessed one. Mrs. Good for Business.wordpress.com